Well, there's that. I was thinking like if I jump at a gas station down there, there's like the walking trail that goes through there, and like a little bridge and stuff that goes over the mansion, like a pedestrian bridge, and like that might be a spot. To, like, yeah, or the war docks, right? That sign, or are you thinking about the stockade sign? Because there's both of them.
So there are three sides.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So the one that's on his first,
Oh,
moving that one to the Columbia dock,
yes.
the on 44th.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That's
What's
frustrating.
such a big smile there?
Yeah,
Are you guys gonna do this one?
that's unfortunate. But I by myself, I've struggled
I
too.
think we own one of the signs.
But I think
I don't know how that happened, but like 30 years ago or 50 years ago or
now
whatever.
I'm starting.
Just we're finding moving on. And then the art group is actually working on, there's like a subcommittee working on another sign that's going to go down, that's going to go down at the new landing at the end of 28 Woodstock Bay. So they're working on another sign, I think that's going to go to Woodstock too.
It was first snowstorm.
But I have to talk to the committee, that subcommittee, and figure out what's going on with that, because they're doing the same thing with the Lincoln Park, like,
Sand if it was
Mr.
whatever. Yeah, so.
I never.
Yeah, if you want to nudge us, I can nudge you guys.
Think I can get through 3 inches?
I don't know.
Has to call her like only like worst friend that's like, I don't know what's going on. But what do I do? Oh my god.
Well, that's just for your gift, okay? But I didn't choose you.
It's funny for her.
It just felt easier to.
So then after,
Yeah, with the tax.
I'm going through it anyway.
But I will like on the first volume.
I am so sorry.
So good, yeah.
How do you spell it? P-A-S?
Just P apostrophe S, because it was both her
That
and
could mean
Taylor.
lots of
That was
things.
good.
That's good. That's good.
I did have it fun because I
Oh, sure, yeah. I wanted to give you priority.
you were on family.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, I heard this. But probably told, but I don't have kids. Oh.
Yeah.
Early, I can do that.
Yeah, early the
Early better, I Wednesday or Thursday, tomorrow, next day.
Projector and then go ahead and get on.
Alright, have a good time.
like 7.
Oh, he didn't do it on purpose.
No, he was doing it on purpose. But he wouldn't, we couldn't figure it out because he got into the
Want me
meeting.
to text you or
Google Meets had changed all.
to remind you? Or?
So whoever gets in first is the host.
Well, I will say, here he is right now.
Okay. So you're a better man than me.
Our exit the time down the last couple minutes. So that was a part of the email right on mine.
Right.
Class today.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll see you tomorrow.
How you doing, Chad?
I'm well, thank you. And you?
Good, good. You don't even need a hand with these new chairs.
Oh, new technology.
I mean, I wasn't there. Well, I watched it, looked over his minutes.
I just didn't want to. I should have texted you earlier.
That is quite all right. No, thank you for that.
You can have an extra pen.
I think I do.
Without pens. Typing, I looked.
You are.
Thank you, Chip.
You bet. Yeah. John, grab another wheelie chairs. Or the first 3 are set, and you can do 4 through 7 as one bulk.
Yeah, that was nice of you, Garner.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling good.
Okay, good evening, counselors. It is 6:30 p.m., so I will call the Tuesday, January 16th meeting of the Superior Common Council to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Chair Ledeen. Councillor Van Sickle. Councillor Moffett. Councillor Sweeney. Councillor Fennessy. Councillor Elm. Councillor Ludwig. Councillor Herrick. Councillor Johnson. And Vice Chair Grasky.
We have a quorum.
Item 4.1 is the approval of the December 19th, 2023 regular council meeting minutes.
Motion to approve?
Motions by Councillor Elm, second by Councillor Johnson. Councillor Herrick.
Yeah, I'd just like to at this time, do an amendment for the roll call that I was here in person on that particular evening. It showed me as being via teleconference, but I was here.
Oh, I see that. Is there any objection to making that change? Hearing no objection, the minutes will reflect the change, and apologies to Councillor Herrick. Any further changes to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify. All those in favor of adopting the minutes as amended, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 6.1 is report from Mayor Payne.
Okay, good evening again, councilors. Probably the most pressing thing right now, as I mentioned to you, we were hopeful to present an ARPA budget by the end of January, an updated, amended ARPA budget. I'm going to still say that's our goal, but what we're sort of waiting for is any counselors that would like to see changes in it. If you would like me to propose the budget with changes you want to see, or just proposals you have, ways to spend money that would be ARPA eligible, and most likely we can, there's a good chance we can make just about anything ARPA eligible. I'll need you to reach out to my office as quickly as possible, talk to me about those things so that we can get that in there. Obviously, you're not going to see this until February 2nd at the earliest as a council, but we really need to hear from you now if you want that presented budget to contain your ideas. When you're thinking about things to spend ARPA money on, time is now very much of the essence. We've talked about this before, and so we need to commit everything in that budget by the end of 2024. And that can have a complex definition, but the simplest way to understand it is if we can have a contract or a signed agreement of some kind by the end of 2024 for what you want to do, we can likely do it. If it will take longer than that, meet with me anyways, because maybe we can find a way to make ARPA work, but it's never too early to start talking about ways to spend other pots of money as well. So I just want to hear your ideas anyways, even if ARPA may not be the best source. But the things that will likely make it are those, of course, that we think can achieve consensus at the council, but things that can be spent, committed to be spent by the end of 2024. Doesn't need to be spent. We just need an agreement. So if it's a 3-year project, but we can get a contract in this year, that's a good potential ARPA expense. One more point about that. Until we really adopt the changes in that budget, the existing budget stands, and there's still $700,000 in nonprofit grants. We talked about this at the last committee of the whole, and we are starting to get some grant applications in. I don't, or some folks have expressed some interest. I don't really know what to do with those. I think at this point we should really amend the budget. We could still throw out one last round, but if in committee, especially the finance committee, or if you know of folks that want to apply for money, I'm not saying it'll pass or that we'll award any grants, but the council could spend that money. It is awarded to nonprofit grants right now. So if a grant rolled into the finance committee next month or to the city council the month after that, and we still have this budget intact, we can definitely issue grants out of that fund before we change the ARPA budget. Any questions on that? Councilor Sweeney.
Could you repeat to me the amount in the nonprofit grant?
Probably not. It's a few $100,000. I don't know the actual number.
No, let's. Okay, I'll say a figure, and you tell me it's over 200,000.
It's over 200,000.
That's all. Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions about ARPA? The only other announcement I have, I'm about to propose an appointment to the Commission on Disabilities. I believe we have room for at least one more. So, again, I would very much like your suggestions on people that could serve on the Commission on Disabilities. Really anybody that has goals for making Superior more accessible overall for any group of folks that might have barriers in the community, but especially people that might have some kind of lived or professional expertise. That's who we're really looking for. That said, we're going to consider all comers. I'd like to make one more appointment, but I think this appointment tonight should get us ready to meet for that commission. Any questions on my report? That should be all I have.
All right, then item 6.2 is the committee appointment recommendations for the Mayor's Commission on Disabilities to appoint Ashby Rostern for a term expiring January 2027.
The motion is by Councillor Johnson, second by Councillor Grasky. Is there discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 7.2 is the business of the Public Works Committee with a meeting held on January 4th. Is there a report from the chair?
Thank you, Clerk. Items 1 through 3, we can read separately, but I would like to, if there's no objection from the body, to move these out of order to read 2 first. In order, I think the proposers are here. They're in the second row. I'm sorry. Do you guys want to come up? I don't blame you, but I just wanted to give you the opportunity.
Well, hold on. Why don't we get this back in order first? Counselor, would you like us to read item 2 first? Is there objection to me taking these out of order and reading the second recommendation first?
No objections.
Thank you.
Hearing none, will the clerk please read recommendation number 2?
Item 2 is a recommendation to approve an ordinance amending City Code Chapter 112, Traffic Code, Article 7, Parking, Schedule A, Stop Section 3, 1 and 2-way stops to add the following stop at Maryland Avenue and North 16th Street.
Motions by Councilor Herrick and the second by Councilor Ludwig. So what the Chair of Public Works was referring to is this stop sign was proposed by 2 Superior High School students, and unless they have strong objections, I would like to invite them to the podium to very briefly say why they proposed this stop sign. And I'm afraid I must hold you to the 3-minute rule. You have 3 minutes, barring the indulgence of the council.
Okay. I'm Madeline Carey.
I'm Jacqueline Samarja. We are students at Superior High School. We are taking a dual enrollment class through both the high school and UWS. And one of our assignments was to write a proposal for a need in the community to Mayor Payne. And this is our proposal.
Jacqueline actually lives in the area, and she knows that a lot of residents around the area have expressed that a stop sign in the area is really important. So we went and we talked to them. Everyone was unanimous in saying that a stop sign is needed at this specific intersection. They don't feel safe without it. So we wrote up this proposal. We did research on the budget. Like I said, we talked to residents in the area, and we surveyed our school and other such things, and yeah, it was a great project.
Councilors, do you have any questions for them? Councilor Herrick.
No, I just want to say thank you, ladies, for your fine work in this project. You did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Thank you both, and I'm sorry. Councilors, I would only add, I did invite them. This moved very quickly. I attend this class every year and consider their proposals very seriously. It's a very direct and honest conversation. When I disagree with the proposals, I tell them so. When I agree with them, I try to give them a path forward. And in this particular case, it was as simple as agendizing it on the Public Works Committee. And I'll say now what I said at that committee. This was the most informed stop sign proposal I've ever seen, and I've seen a number of them. So have all of you. You've probably all had stop sign requests at some point. And the Public Works Committee is very deliberate about that, looking at the crash data, looking at the neighborhood, traffic patterns surrounding it. They had done all of that work. I learned several things about our stop sign process from their proposal. So I endorse this ordinance and hope that you will adopt it. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting the ordinance, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Congratulations, ladies. I'm sorry, Councilor Van Sickle, do you have anything further?
Sorry, let me just, if I could make a motion to approve items 4 through 8, you'll see that we spent several months with ESD reworking some ordinances. They had a comprehensive assessment back in 2000, I want to say 19, and they've just been updating some of their work through coordination with the DNR. So those are those top lines, and the Public Works also thanks Cenevis for working with us on just understanding more about that wetland process, and the Public Works does endorse that, does support it. And we spent a great deal of time with Lieutenant Trone on trying to figure out the best strategy to install the flashing, responsive speed signs. There's just some disagreement about where our jurisdiction starts and where it stops in terms of WSDOT on East 2nd. And there was a request from the 9th District Councilor as well to explore some spots in the Billings Park area closer to the roundabout. So those are some things that we discussed as well. This was referred from the Public Safety Committee. The Public Works Committee also discussed a partnership with Local 11 regarding a program that they exercise in the cities called Heats On, and that's a program that is directed to identify local citizens through a process that the city is going to help facilitate to identify elderly folks or low-income people that might need support changing filters, making small repairs to their HVAC system in the winter months, and we were hoping that will launch in the fall. You'll read in the minutes that the scoping and design for the East 5th reconstruct is underway, and as well as the MSB building that is going to do some construction on the interior to get that updated. It's long overdue. A reminder that the snow and winter policy is on our website, where you can also track the plows through GPS. And the Public Works Committee, on behalf of the council, thanks Chief Building Inspector Pete Pruitt for his many years of service. And with that, a motion to approve items 4 through 8. And then if the clerk will read items 1 and 2 separately. Thank you.
The motion is by Councilor Van Sickle, second by Councilor Ludwig, to approve recommendations 4 through 8 as they appear on your agenda. Is there any discussion on any of those? Councilor Johnson.
Just briefly, thanks to the Public Works and Councilor Van Sickle for listening to the request from Public Safety and for myself getting that extra speed sign out. I think as traffic increases out that way, and if you've been out on the the Bong Bridge and gone through that roundabout, you know that sometimes it becomes the Indy 500 out there, so to speak. So hopefully that will help. Thank you.
And councilors, we get a couple of requests for these every year. These and our RFBs. So if you've requested one of these in the past, or if you feel like you want it in the neighborhood, as we get closer to the budget, and I ask you for budget recommendations, please consider asking for a few more of these, because folks can get a little bit territorial, and we really only have so many of them. It might be a good idea to buy a few more. Any further discussion on these 5 recommendations? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion carries.
Item 7.2.1 is to approve
Sorry.
an ordinance amending City Code Chapter 114, Utilities, Article 2, Sewer Usage to update local limit changes, hauled waste, and fats, oils, and grease.
Motion is by Councilor Ludwig, second by Councilor Grasky. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
And the third recommendation is to approve an ordinance amending City Code Chapter 112, Traffic Code, Article 7, Parking, Schedule A, Stops, Section 3, 1 and 2-way stops to add the following stops at Fisher Avenue and North 20th Street.
Motion is by Councilor Ludwig, second by Councilor Ledeen. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
All right, item 7.3 is the business of the Finance Committee with a meeting held on December 14th. Is there a report from the chair?
Yes, thank you. You can see there are a number of items that some budgets we want to have passed tonight, but let me just talk about 5 points that I think are the highlights of the last finance meeting, maybe back 2 or 3. Number 1 is we're reviewing the sewer credit policy. I'm not just going to say we're going to revise it, but we're looking at it to see if there's anything we can do for that. So that's on our docket. End of the year, finances are looking good. it's way too early to tell yet, but from this standpoint, they're good. And we should have, I don't know what kind of surplus, but we believe there'll be a surplus, but there's a lot of adjustments, a lot of bills. The number of bills that come in at the last month, the 12th month are in January, are over a percentage of dividing 12 by 100, 8.33. So we're probably getting 20% of the bills come in December. So, but nonetheless, it's looking good, okay? We are revising or studying policies and procedures that we have. It's a big job. It's going to take us 1 year, but we're starting next month. We'll go through all our policies and procedures and bring them up to date if they have to be brought up to date, added, changes, eliminated, whatever it takes. So that will be a big project. It will take us 12 months, but we'll get it done hopefully by December of this year. And we're also going to set up, we've been trying to do this for a number of I'm not going to say years, but we've set up a calendar of things that we must look at every year and put them in, divide them by 12 and try to get some things, some orderly to look at certain things in certain months from a consistent basis and also for somebody down the road to follow. So we made a commitment to do that. I think we're going to do that. We signed a lease. The city has a lease with the company that provides a professional fishing docking, and we signed a lease with them, and we extended it for beyond 1 year. So we added the CPI Minneapolis, Consumer Price Index Minneapolis, to that. So when there are multiple years, we can add a little bit to take care of the costs. So that was done and in effect. Okay, the golf course report. They've had a great year. It goes through calendar year 12/1, ending 12/31. It's not done yet, but it looks like there will be, as of, I believe it through November, there's somewhere around a $200,000 profit, which is great compared to previous times. So, but nonetheless, there's one more month, and we spent money, a lot of money out there, but it's coming to fruition. So things are looking good there, and thank you for all your support. Any questions? I'll certainly try and answer them, and then I'll let the clerk take these 5 items and 6 items for approval. Any questions? Hearing none, thank you.
I believe the chair's motion was to approve all 6 recommendations. Is there a second? Second. The motion then is by Councillor Sweeney, the second by Councillor Elm. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion carries.
Item 7.4 is the business of the Licensing and Fees Committee with a meeting held on December 11th. Is there a report from the chair? All right, they have one recommendation is to approve an ordinance amending City Code Chapter 112, Traffic Code, Article 6, Vehicles for Hire, Taxi Cabs, Animal Drawn Vehicles, Division 3, Operator's License, Section 112-313. It's an application for license to remove the requirement for a notarized application allowing for electronic form submission.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion is by Councillor Grasky, second by Councillor Fennessy. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 7.5 is the business of the Public Safety Committee with a meeting held on December 21st. Is there a report from the chair?
Yeah, Councillor Elm here. I filled in for Councillor Ledeen, and I'll just give a quick recap of the public safety meeting from December 21st. Of course, there's updates from the fire and police departments as they do each month. Chief Valbrecht shared his insights into the recent fires that were around Thanksgiving, a new hire, as well as ongoing training that the fire department's doing. Also, the fire department had a successful Toys for Tots distribution to over 560 children during the 2023 Christmas season. So thanks for all the donations to that to make that possible. Also, the fire department received 6 bids for the fire station renovations. They're going to be reviewing that early this year. The police department is actively filling positions, including a new detective and deflection resource officer. Also, we had some discussions due to the grant restrictions. There are going to be changes in the narcotics investigations units. Also completed some new hiring process, welcoming 13 applicants. So a few new officers were sworn in on January 4th. As to new business, we were just having some discussion about reserved parking spaces for Wireworks, and that's still under review at the committee. And the committee itself had approved the consent agreement with TNT Salvage This provides extra resources to the fire department as a firefighting resource provider under 33 CFR Part 155. To give a little more detail on the agreement, in 2021, the fire department joined the Great Lakes Marine Firefighting Task Force, addressing the shipboard firefighting. The agreement with TNT Salvage aligns with that part that I just mentioned, 33 CFR Part 155, offering access to specialized equipment, training, vessel response plans, and 24-hour availability. This is going to have no direct impact on the budget and a potential reimbursement if the SFD responds to TNT's request. So thank you for that. Any questions are welcome, and we do have a recommendation here.
The recommendation is to approve a consent agreement for the City Superior Fire Department to be listed as a firefighting resource provided with TNT Salvage LLC in accordance with 33 Code of Federal Regulations, Part 155, Salvage and Marine Firefighting Requirements.
The motion then was by Councillor Herrick, the second by Councillor Elm. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Councillors, before we go forward, I just want to take this moment to say, I don't believe he's here or online, but this is the last official council meeting under the leadership of Police Chief Nick Alexander. We had his city send-off last week where it was very well attended. Thank you to everybody that was able to make it. I know it's tough during the workday, but it was a very inspiring and emotional event, justifiably. I can't let this council meeting pass without expressing my deep gratitude for the service, the professionalism, and the commitment that Nick Alexander demonstrated to this city. I can't give a whole speech here. We have a meeting to get through, but I'll just sum it up by saying what I said there, which is, and I mean this seriously, and this is informed, Nick Alexander very much is the best police chief in the United States of America, and because of him, we have the very best police department in the United States of America. There are a number of reasons that I'm able to confidently say that, and I believe that all 10 of you would agree with me. So if you have not already, I hope you'll find a chance to reach out to Chief Alexander, wish him well, and congratulations one final time. Thank you.
Item 8.1.1 is the business of the Plan Commission with a meeting held on December 20th. Is there a report from the chair?
No. No, I have no report beyond the ordinance is a review to our local registry of historic places and how that will actually work for folks that are on the registry. We expect more changes to this ordinance in the weeks and months ahead. So if you're interested in that process, what happens to a home after it's been listed, please reach out to me, to planning, or to the members of the Historic Preservation Commission. We'll probably be talking about that quite a bit in the year to come. The rest are just our regular quarterly small business grant applications. As you can see, a couple of great businesses that we're going to award money to, I hope.
All right, the first recommendation is to approve an ordinance repealing and reenacting City Code Chapter 98, Planning, Zoning, and Development, Article 3, Historic Preservation, Section 98-90, Construction and Alteration, to update the process of the Certificate of Appropriateness.
The motion is by Councillor Fennessy, second by Councillor Moffat. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion carries.
Item number 2 is to approve a small business grant application and development agreement for Bird's Bar.
Is there, I'm going to ask this, is there a motion to approve all 4 of the small business grants? Yes. The motion is by Councillor Sweeney. Is there a second to that motion? The second is by Councillor Elm. The motion then is to approve all 4 of the small business grants. Any discussion? Hearing none. Councillor Sweeney.
3 of the 4 were for, or one of the 4 was for equipment, okay? There is precedent to do that, and so, but originally it was strictly going to be for building upgrades, windows, doors, okay, so that now is a policy, correct?
It's not a policy. We certainly do allow it. And the Plan Commission did have a little bit of discussion on that topic. I won't go so far as to say they had reservations. These were all supported unanimously. But it did become a subject of discussion. I think it is fair to say that the Plan Commission does prefer to award grants for capital improvements, for buildings, but expenses like these, like equipment, are eligible. But it could be an ongoing conversation as we go forward. If that's kind of a shift in the direction of the grant program, it's likely to lead to maybe a refinement of the rules. But we do revisit the policy and how we award these grants at least annually.
I think it's important we do that because as a counselor, and I'm sure the other 9 would get a call from somebody that may come up. They want to buy some equipment or whatever, and so we must be able to tell them either it's yes or no. Don't come and find out. We have a policy that will suggest that we will approve equipment. Okay.
Yes, we do have a policy. We do have guidelines.
Okay.
And so I can't speak for all equipment purchases. No. And of course, it's subject to the discretion of the Plan Commission and Council. But generally, yes, equipment upgrades and purchases are eligible.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of awarding all 4 grants, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
All right, reports without recommendations. At this time, are there any other committee or commission reports to be made? All right, moving on to new business. Item 10.1, Community Development Manager Anderson is recommending the approval of a resolution setting a public hearing on February 20th, 2024 for comments on community development needs and fair housing choice.
Motion is by Councilor Herrick, second by Councilor Elm. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion carries.
Item 10.2, I am recommending approval of miscellaneous licenses.
Motion is by Councilor Fennessy, second by Councilor Grasky. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion carries.
Item 10.3, Public Works Director Janago is recommending approval of an ordinance amending City Code Chapter 112, Traffic Code, Schedule J, accessible parking zones to remove accessible parking signs from 1711 Ogden Avenue on both sides.
Motion is by Councilor Elm, second by Councilor Ludwig. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion carries.
Item 10.4, Finance Director Reinhardt is recommending the approval of a resolution providing for the prepayment and redemption of a portion of the outstanding $3,240,000 General Obligation Refunding Bond Series 2017C.
Motion is by Councilor Fennessy, second by Councilor Grasky. Is there discussion? Councilor Sweeney.
Is the Finance Director here?
He is online. Director Reinhardt is ready. What is your question, Councilor?
Can we just go through that and tell us the advantage of this?
Did you hear the question?
Yes. Yep. So this debt is related to Tax Incrementing Finance District number 9. This is the final piece of debt that was outstanding on that. We did some review on interest rates, decide whether we should keep it invested. At the time, I just don't feel like there was an appropriate trade-off to deal with that. It just, was more administrative work to keep this debt on the books. That the money that's saved for this debt currently is limited to that tax incrementing financing district. So this is my recommendation, is that we just clean it up and make it a little easier administratively for the city.
Is there a financial gain?
For the taxing district or for the debt?
For the debt.
Interest rates are a little lower on this debt. So, likely, we could be investing this and making a little more, but the administrative burden probably outweighs that, in my professional opinion.
Okay, thank you. Nothing outweighs making a little more. Thank you.
Is there any? The motion is to approve the resolution. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion carries. We have nobody signed up to speak in public comment, but would anybody like to speak in public comment? Seeing none, we have no further business, and we are adjourned. Good evening, councilors.